Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. So I just finished the abstraction video for software design principle, and now I got some feedback about the code also. So let me go through, write one sample code, few sample code for understanding the abstraction for developer. I today received this book called The Lean Startup. Okay, and this Lean Startup, I think due to this horizontal, yeah. So this book, The Lean Startup. Okay, and this Lean Startup book is. Some friend of mine has recommended this book. This is not only for a startup, the person who are starting a startup. It is like how you can build your individual brand, individual personality, be it developer, be it architect, be it working professional or entrepreneur, or maybe something else like be it a researcher. The all person who wants to focus, who wants to make some strategy in some for some target, for some near or long term goal for his life or her life, they must go this book as per my friend's suggestion. I have not gone yet, so I will share my feedback on my understanding um, after going through this book. So let me let me go through this book first, and then I will come up with my feedback or my summary for this book. This book seems, by just looking this book, I feel that paper quality is little. If it can improve, in future, that would be better. For now, like for reading purposes, that's okay, no issue. In India, we are the person who can adjust for all these scenarios, and so that's okay. But for like just keep the better, uh, I mean, vibe to reader, if the paper quality will be better in future, would more beneficial for selling this book. I believe that. This is the only feedback at this point. So rest all after reading it, I will share my feedback. Okay. Okay. Let's move to the coding part now. So my target for coding today is that just create one sample code to demonstrate the abstraction primarily for those people who are interested in hands-on coding, and they also want to understand these design principles with hands-on. Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to the ID part. Created one empty folder here. Close these things. Okay. So what I have did it here, just created one folder, and I'm going to write now new math class. So I'm adding that. What should I put the name? Abstraction demo. Okay. Abstraction demo.cpp. Okay. So I'm just copying glue code at least so that I don't waste your time. So glue code is here. Yeah. So this is your glue code, just small glue code. It's nothing related with the here. Okay, so just copy this glue code in this exercise file so that I can run and do the needful things for you. Okay. Now the first thing is what to do. So let's try to make this main as a user function, right? So you have created, you need to write here the code like that. So yeah, so minimum thing is like since I'm talking about, if you remember, I was talking about. So first you have, let me show you the data abstraction sample. Okay. So in data abstraction, like I have to create one class which is called class employee. Okay. And here I will make two variables. One is name, one is name, and one is ID. Okay, these are the two variables I have to write. There are some nomenclature also, m name or m something like that. If you want to give, yes, of course, this is a good idea. So like that. Nothing wrong in this. Nothing wrong in this, right? You have to take this way. All right, and then I'm saying that usually you have to create interface like getter and setter of string. So in some method, like yeah. So here is something. Go to declaration. I don't know, this ID is going to support or not. Anyway, so no issue. So like if I have to write the getter for name, what should you do? So I will say that get name, and no need to pass anything as an argument, return name. Okay, that's it. Yeah, so name is m name. Okay, and similarly, if I have to write the setter, so setter do not need any any return type here. It is just like a string new name, and I will pass it. Or maybe another way of doing this is like name. It's a better way, right? So m name is equal to underscore name. All right, so this is one. So I have created this getter and setter for name. So just close it. And for now, just go for ID, similar way, right? So this is like int get ID, and this method is, it is not, I mean, please understand that this is not big deal. Only thing is like I'm explaining you so that you should not do similar kind of mistake, or like exposing the directory or private members and those things. You should not do, you should avoid it. So yeah. So getter and setter of this. Okay, now okay, so employee have constructor also, right? So usually constructor is here, so employee, and in employee you have to pass okay, and these things you have to like use the initializer list for doing all this initialization, right? So I will pass this initialization and name, and I will pass here underscore name, and I will pass here MID and underscore ID. I hope this will make more sense to you when you read. Yeah, so this is your employee. What he's saying is not saying anything. All right, now just say let me create employee type of object first. So I'm saying that employee, and I'm passing it here, say for example Avinash, and I'm saying that ID is 88888, something like that. Something is integer range. Okay, then I'm saying that just print, but how you will print employee name. Okay, and this is like employee dot name get name, and I will do this thing similarly. I can copy it. This is your ID, and I will say that employee, instead of get name you have to call the get ID. And yeah, so if you run this method, so this much is the data abstraction, right? Okay, so yeah, so if you see this thing, this is your ID and name. Okay, so whatever I have set, I get it. But what I did it here, I have not directly accessed this name and ID. So this is the example of data abstraction. If you remember your our discussion, this was the example I have shown here, right? If you look at my screen, this is the example I have shown here, right? So that's it. The next section is I have to show you the process abstraction in this example only. So okay, so the next thing in my bucket is create a functional or process abstraction, right? So how you will do? So just create a class to demo functional abstraction. Okay, so I'm just creating one class, and as per my requirement, I have to write two things here, right? So one is I will come member variables later, but some are the private interface, right? So private so private methods which is termed as internal methods, right? So you can term this as internal methods. Okay, now what is point here is, what kind of point you are making here is that there are 2-3 methods, I should say. So for like okay, so first you go for the internal methods, and this method are like say for example this is void ignition. So or I mean whether you say this, now ignition have what should say bool. So ignition, if it is turned on, so I'm just assuming, or maybe I can define here for simplicity, that if it is off then return false. If it is on after this method, then return true. So it is just like a kind of okay. And better place is to make this member variable is what you say power on. Okay, so I'm just creating one variables which is bool type. Okay, and I will say power on, and this variable should be return what you return here. So if power is on, then you have to return this. Okay, so this one power on. Okay, so like this. So the logic is very simple. Logic is like if it is already power on, then once you push the ignition means you have to power off and then return that value. And if it is a power off, then you have to power on, right? That's it. So this is what this method, ignition method is. Do I need anything to do before checking the power on? I don't think so. So you don't require any method. It is just a power on kind of things. And power on is actually will call the method which is I have written if power on. So if power on, this variable is power on, then you don't need to do anything. If it is not a power on, then I will just start. Then I have to use some kind of method, which is probably I can say that like create a spark, something like that. Create spark to start, and I'm just putting that just for my understanding. Getting engine on. Okay, and so that's it. Kind of things, and this method create a spark will call if power is not on. Okay, if it is already power on, no need to do anything. In that case, you have to call the method and you pass it like engine state, or maybe bool. For now it is bool engine state, and I will say that engine state, and if engine state is true, I mean on, then I will say that getting engine off. Okay, and if else, getting engine on. Do like something to just make sure that else on. So yeah, very simple. And then off and on, engine state is belongs to here, and I will pass it like if this power on is on, then we'll go for this. Okay, so you don't need to do anything here, just do this thing. Okay, and you have to return from here. So ignition code is like that. Okay, simple. So this will ignition code. It will, once you get this call, it will call the create spark with power on. If it is already power on, you have to go for getting engine off, and then if it is not power on, then you go for power on, and otherwise you have to return it like on. Okay, so the first thing is that. Another thing is, another API we can give here is say what accelerate, right? So acceleration is again the value, some value, and but by what percentage. So internal calculation is like just imagine you have a something you have to shed. So increment or decrement. So accelerator. So void accelerator increment. Okay, accelerator increment. And so if increment is called, I will just increase whatever the value I have. Int. So int accelerator value, right? Accelerator value. I do think that you just have to if. Now here one more thing you have to consider, that there must be const int max accelerator value, right? So this value may be 150. So if this is so, if your accelerator current accelerator value is less than the max accelerator value, in that case you have to just update the accelerator value is equal to max value. Okay, and by accelerator max accelerator value. Okay, by chance if not, I mean it is already greater than equal to, then don't do anything. So this is your accelerator increase. So this, and another method which is primarily talking about decrease. So instead of inc you should write decrease, and if accelerator value is greater than 0. So interesting. So in this case your value would be max of 0 comma accelerator value minus, say for example any values of a, or say for example 5. So if I'm increasing it, I'm seeing it this here accelerator value, but what you did here, nothing. So this is max, but in this case like mean of max plus accelerator value plus 5. Okay, so this is your code. I recommend you to minimize it and then push it here. So now you see this code. The code is very simple, but is it intuitive? Yes, of course. So what you did here is you just have to assign the value. So if accelerator is less than max value, I have to check accelerator value min of accelerator plus 5 and max value. If it is reaching max value plus kind of things, then you have to accept only the max acceleration up to that. Otherwise this is okay. Similarly, if it is accelerator value is greater than 0, then accelerator value is equal to max of 0 comma accelerator minus 5. Whatever is the value, I mean in all condition the maximum value I can decrease up to 0 only, right? So this makes sure that code. Okay, so these code are like decrease and increase code, and these are the private code for you, and you have to deal with these codes here. So just like accelerate. So void I would get accelerate, or maybe I can pass it here int accelerate, and this method will pass here, I mean what, up and down, so direction, if you pushed or popped. Okay, so dir could be, dir might be pressed or released. Okay, so like that. And if dir is, say for example, dir might be pressed, so pressed means true, so true, and release means false, release means false. Okay, so this is something like that. If dir is true, then direction, if direction is something like this. Now what you have to see here, that there are two things. If direction is true, means it is released, I mean it is pressed. Pressed mean what you have to call, which method? The method is definitely a accelerator, right? So which method is called accelerator increment. Okay, accelerator increment, and I'll pass it nothing, so just like that I will call this one. Okay, simple. Now if I have to go by my principle or my way of writing, I will go by this way. Okay, so this, and then else what you do, accelerator underscore decrease. Okay, and you have to do. And finally, since I'm expecting that I have to return the current speed here. Okay, so I just return the, okay, one more point we have to understand that so the value here is accelerator value. Okay, so return accelerator value. Okay, so this is the second thing. Okay, so this will return your final value in accelerator. Similarly, you can write for brake also, so I'm not going to write because that is actually a time waste, so let's not indulge in this. And simply when you want to use it, what you have to do, if you want to use ignition, so you just have to demo of ignition and acceleration. Okay, so these two things you should do, and you call that, not employee, what, how do you see this? Then this is your class, right? Sorry, this is your class demo functional abstraction, right? So just create one class dfa, and this dfa have dot ignition, and I'm expecting that dfa dot acceleration, and this value requires true. Okay, one more thing is that either you have to pass this thing or put the default value. What you should expect here is put some default value here. So put some default value here, private and public. So you just have to put constructor here, and that constructor is demo this, and I will say that power on, and this is by default, this value will be false. And similarly, accelerator value, by default this value would be 0. Okay, and so yeah, so these two are important things. They're not this, sorry. So this is okay, and now you have to just run this code. That's it. So you'll see that accelerator and those things call, you will see. So ID getting engine on. Am I not called accelerator? No, accelerator I have given, but it is not coming. Why it is not coming? Let's see. So F9. So maybe, so sometime these kind of things also you have to do, debug it. And now this is true. So accelerator increment will be called. But can I have anything in this? So how do you check it? Just go to that function and just check, is there anything? So we have not done, right? That's why. So you just put something, cout car is accelerated. Okay. And similarly, you can put in deacceleration also, the same kind of generic message, not accelerated here, deaccelerated. Okay, deaccelerated here. Okay, now you just launch this thing, you will see that increment method is car is accelerated. Okay, so I mean to say, what I am trying to show that this consumer do not need like what exactly he is doing. If he is calling ignition, now if it is engine is turned on, it will return. So what should you return? Bool engine state. So for example, this is your engine state. Okay, so now you can also try to make it that cout what? So if engine state is true, then you will say that cout engine on. Otherwise, you may say that cout engine is off. Okay, and perfect. So if this is the case, I mean, it is just a one type of way of doing things. So getting engine is on, car is accelerated. Maybe something I have not done here, so that's why it is showing like this. Now in this case, when I'm here, create a spark, I've done it, right? Create a spark, I've done it. And game. Okay, so car is accelerated. This is also a mind your language, and yeah, so I don't know, but for now I think just have to. Okay, see how to just put one thing here, and that's it. If engine is on, engine on, car is accelerated. So here, like after that, handle is not okay. Okay, I got your point. So either this or this. Okay. So if I have to do this thing, then I need to pass this method like this. Okay, just hold on. So I will do this thing like this. See out, engine is off, is something like this. So either this or this, ternary state, and so see out. If this is the case, then I'm saying this, or maybe okay, just hold on. Why we are making so much nonsense things here? Yeah, so this is no need, just one small tweak here. Okay, yeah, so engine on and car is accelerated. Okay, if you want to here also, then this is something you can do here. Yeah, so and what is this one, by the way? Why is this is also printed? Actually this is also printed. So yeah, so engine state is also printed, and this is also okay, so no issue. Similarly, you can put it on break also, similar interface and implementation, so that it will be clarified. But for now, just time saving, I'm not going to do it because this is similar things, nothing to change. You just try as a homework and complete this exercise if you think you want to map with my design, I mean my theoretical discussion. Okay, thank you for listening, and I hope I will see lots of feedback and your suggestion to improve further these kind of discussion. Thank you, thanks a lot. Keep learning, keep moving, keep progressing. Thank you.